ASMR. We're back at the hotel, and everyone's checking in. I'd like to see it, the lovely room, I said. Yes, Prabakar laughed. Okay, here we go, the Canadian sighed, smiling. Anand smiled in return, reaching behind him to take the room key from a rack of hooks. He tossed the key and its heavy brass nameplate across the desk to me. Last room on the right, my friend. It was a large room, and the 3 single beds covered by sheets, one window to the seaward side, and a row of windows that looked down upon a busy street. Each of the walls were painted in a different shade of headache green. The ceiling was laced with cracks, papery scrolls of paint dangled from the corners. The cement floor sloped downwards with mysterious lumps and irregular undulations. Toward the street windows, 3 small plywood side tables and a battered wooden dressing table with a cracked mirror were the only other pieces of furniture. Previous occupants had left evidence of their tenure. A candle melted onto the neck of a Bailey's Irish cream bottle, a calendar print of a Neapolitan street scene taped to one wall, and 2 forlorn shriveled balloons hanging from the ceiling fan. It was the kind of room that moved people to write their names and other messages on the walls, just as men do in the prison cells. I'll take it, I decided. Yes, Prabakar cried, scurrying away at once toward the foyer. My companions from the bus looked at one another and laughed. I can't be bothered arguing with this dude, he's crazy. I hear ya, the shorter one chuckled. He bent low and sniffed at the sheets before sitting down gingerly on one of the beds. Prabakar returned with Anand, who carried the heavy hotel register. We entered our details into the book one at a time while Anand checked our passports. I paid for a week in advance. Anand gave the others their passports, but lingered with mine, tapping it against his cheek thoughtfully. New Zealand. So, I frowned, wondering if he'd seen or sensed something. I was Australia's most wanted man, escaped from a jail term of 20 years for armed robberies, and a hot new name on the Interpol fugitive list. What's he want? What does he know? Okay, New Zealand, you must be wanting something for smoke. Some lot of beer, some bottle of whiskey, change money, business girls, good parties. You want to buy something? You want to tell me? He snapped the passport back into my hand and left the room, glaring malevolently at Prabakar. The guide cringed away from him in the doorway, cowering and smiling happily at the same time. A great man, a great manager, Prabakar gushed when Anand was gone. You get a lot of New Zealanders here, Prabakar. No, not so many, Mr. Lindsey, but very fine fellows they are, laughing, smoking, drinking, having sexes with women all in the night, and then more laughing, smoking, drinking. I suppose you'd happen to know where I could get some hashish, Prabakar. No problem, I can get it $1, 1 kilo, 10 kilos, even I know where it is a full warehouse. I don't need a warehouse full of hash, I just want enough for one smoke. Just happens, I have it, $1, 10 grams, the best Afghan charas in my pocket. You want to buy? How much? 200 rupees, he suggested hopefully. I guessed that it was less than half that price, but 200 rupees, about $12 American in those years, was 1/10 of the price in Australia. I tossed a packet of tobacco and cigarette papers to him. Okay, roll up a joint, and we'll try it. If I like it, I'll buy it. My 2 roommates were stretched out on their parallel beds. They looked at one another and exchanged similar expressions, raising their foreheads in sedimentary wrinkles and pursing their lips as Prabakar pulled the piece of hashish from his pocket. They stared with fascination and dread while the little guide knelt to make the joint on the dusty surface of the dressing table. Are you sure this is a good idea, man? Yeah, they could be setting us up for a drug bust or something. I think I feel okay about Prabakar. I don't think we'll get busted, I replied, unrolling my travel blanket and spreading it out on the bed beneath the long windows. There was a ledge on the windowsill, and I began to place my keepsakes, trinkets, and lucky charms there. A black shells, feathers, even the clothes I wore and the boots on my feet were gifts that friends had given. Every object was significant in my hunted exile, and the windowsill had become my home, and the talismans were my nation. By all means, guys, if you don't feel safe, take a walk or wait outside for a while. I'll come and get you after I have a smoke. It's just the thing I promised some friends of mine, that if I ever got to India, it's just that I told them I'd smoke some hash, and think of them. I meant to keep that promise. Besides, the manager seemed pretty cool about it to me. Is there any problem with smoking a joint in here, Prabakar? Smoking, dancing, drinking, sexy business, no problem here, Prabakar assured us, grinning happily and looking up momentarily from his task. Everything is allowed, no problem here, except the fighting. Fighting is not good manners in India guest house. I see, no problem. And dying, Prabakar added with a thoughtful wag of his round head. Mr. Anand not liking it if the people are dying here. Say what? What is he talking about? Dying? Is he fucking serious? Who the fuck is dying here? Jesus. No problem dying, Baba. Prabakar soothed, offering to the distraught Canadians his neatly rolled joint. The taller man took it and puffed it a light. Not many people are dying here in India guest house, and mostly only junkies, you know, with the skinny faces. For you, no problem with your so beautiful big fat bodies. His smile was disarmingly charming as he brought the joint to me. When I returned it to him, he puffed at it with obvious pleasure and passed it to the Canadians once more. Is good, Jaras? Yes. It's really good, the taller man said. His smile was warm and generous, the big, open-hearted smile that the long years since have taught me to associate with Canada and Canadians. I'll take it, I said. Prabakar passed it to me, and I broke the 10-gram lump into 2 pieces, throwing one half of it to my roommates. Here's something for the train ride to Pune tomorrow. Thanks, man, he answered, showing the piece to his friend. Say, you're all right. Crazy, but all right. I pulled a bottle of whiskey from my pack and cracked the seal. It was another ritual, another promise to a friend in New Zealand, a girl who'd asked me to have a drink with her, and think of her if I managed to smuggle myself safely to India with my false passport. The little rituals, the smoke and the drink of whiskey were important to me. I was sure that I'd lost those friends, just as I'd lost my family and every friend I'd ever known. When I escaped from prison, I was sure somehow that I would never see them again. I was alone in the world with no hope of return, and my whole life was held in memories, talismans, and pledges of love. I was about to take a sip from the bottle, but an impulse made me offer it to Prabakar first. Thank you too much, Mr. Lindsey, he gushed, his eyes wide with delight. He tipped his head backwards and poured a measure of whiskey into his mouth without touching the bottle to his lips. Is very best. First number, Johnny Walker. Oh, yes. Have some more if you like. Just a teeny pieces, thank you so. He drank again, gluggling the liquor down in throat bulging gulps. He paused, licking his lips, then tipped the bottle back a third time. Sorry, very sorry. It's so good, this whiskey. It is making bad manners on me. Listen, if you like it that much, you can keep the bottle. I've got another one. I bought them from the duty-free place on the plane. Oh, thank you, he answered, but his smile crumpled into his stricken expression. What's the matter? You don't want it? Yes, Mr. Lindsey, very yes, but if I knew this was my whiskey and not yours, I would not have been so generous with my good self in the drinking it up. The young Canadians laughed. I tell you what, Prabakar, I'll give you the full bottle to keep, and we'll all share the open one. easy on the street. You don't know what it's like here. You can't trust no one. This ain't the village. The Indians in the city are well, just be careful is all, okay? At the reception desk, Anand put my passport, travel checks, and the bulk of my cash in a safe, giving me a detailed receipt, and I stepped down to the street with the words of the young Canadian in the morning wheeling and turning in my mind like gulls above a spawning tide. Prabakar had taken us to the hotel along a wide tree-lined and relatively empty avenue that followed a curve of the bay from the tall stone arch of the gateway of the India Monument. The street at the front of the building was crammed with people and vehicles, however, and the sound of voices, car horns, and commerce was like a storm of rain on wood and metal roofs. Hundreds of people walked there or stood and talked in groups. Shops, restaurants, and hotels filled the street side by side along its entire length. Every shop or restaurant featured a smaller sub-shop attached to the front of it. 2 or 3 attendants, seated in folding stools, manned each of these small encroachments on the footpath. They were Africans, Arabs, Europeans, and Indians. Languages and music changed with every step, and every restaurant spilled a different scent into the boiling air. Men with bullock wagons Not much too very far, he replied cheerfully. Okay. Oh yes, I will take you to the best restaurant, and with the finest Maharashtra food you will enjoy no problem. All the Bombay guides like me to eat their foods there, and this place is so good they only have to pay the police half of usual bakshish money. So good they are. Okay? Oh yes, but first let me get an Indian cigarette for you and for me. Also, here, we stop now. He led me to a street stall that was no more than a folding card table with a dozen brands of cigarettes arranged in a cardboard box. On the table there was a large brass tray carrying several small silver dishes. The unidentifiable pastes, a bucket beside the card table was filled with spear-shaped leaves floating in water. The cigarette seller was drying the leaves, smearing them with various pastes, filling them with ground dates, coconut, betel, and spices, and rolling them into small packages. The many customers crowded around his stall purchased the leaves as fast as his exterior's hands could fill them. Prabakar pressed close to the man, waiting for a chance to make his order. Craning my neck to watch him through the thicket of customers, I moved closer towards the edge of the footpath. As I took a step down into the road, I heard an urgent shout. Look out! Two hands grasped my arm at the elbow and jerked me back just as a huge, fast-moving double-decker bus swept past. The bus would have killed me if those hands hadn't halted me in my stride, and I swung around to face my savior. She was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. She was slender, with black shoulder-length hair and pale skin, although she wasn't tall. Her square shoulders and straight back posture with both feet planted firmly apart gave her a quietly determined physical presence. She was wearing silk pants, bound tightly at the ankles, black low-heeled shoes, a loose cotton shirt, and a large, long silk shawl. She wore the shawl backwards, with a double mane of the liquid fabric twirling and fluttering at her back, and all of her clothes were in different shades of green. The clue to everything it matched love and fear in her was there, right from the start, and the ironic smile that primed and swelled the archery of her full lips. There was a pride in that smile and confidence in the set of her fine nose. Without understanding why, I knew beyond question that a lot of people would mistake her pride for arrogance and confuse her confidence with impassivity. I didn't make that mistake. My eyes were lost, swimming, floating free in her shimmering lagoon of the steady, even stare. Her eyes were large and spectacularly green. It was the green that trees are in vivid dreams. It was the green that the sea would be if the sea were perfect. Her hand was still resting in the curve of my arm near the elbow. The touch was exactly what the touch of a lover's hand should be, familiar yet exciting as a whispered promise. I felt an almost irresistible urge to take her hand and place it flat against my chest near my heart. Maybe I should have done it. I know now that she would have laughed if I'd done it, and she would have liked me for it. But strangers that we were then, we stood for 5 long seconds and held the stare while all the parallel worlds, all the parallel lives that might have been and never would be whirled around us. Then she spoke. That was close. You're lucky. Yes, I smiled. I am. Her hand slowly left my arm, and it was an easy, relaxed gesture, but I felt the detachment from her as sharply as if I'd been roughly woken from a deep and happy dream. I leaned toward her, looking behind her to the left and to the right. What is it? She asked. I was looking for your wings. You're my guardian angel, aren't you? I'm afraid not, she replied, her cheeks dimpling with a wry smile. There's too much of the devil in me for that. Just how much devil? I grinned. Are we talking about here? Some people were standing in a group on the far side of the stall. One of them, a handsome, athletic man in his mid-20s, stepped to the road and called to her. Carla, come on. She turned and waved to him, then held out her hand to shake mine with a grip that was firm but emotionally indeterminable. Her smile was just as ambiguous. She might have liked me, or she might have just been happy to say goodbye. You still haven't answered my question, I said, as her hand slipped from mine. How much devil have I got in me? She answered, the half-smile teasing her lips. That's a very personal question. Come to think of it, that might just be the most personal question anyone ever asked me, but hey, if you come to Leopold sometime, you could find out. Her friends had moved to our side of the little stand, and she left me to join them. They were all Indians, all young, all dressed in clean, fashionably Western clothes of the middle class. They laughed often and matchmakers say is more than half of the love. But I didn't know that then, and my heart rushed in where even matchmakers might have feared to tread. See, Mr. Lindsey, I bought it just 2 cigarettes for us, Prabakar said, rejoining me and offering one of the cigarettes with a flourish. This is India, country of the poor fellows. No need for buying a whole packet of cigarettes here. Just 1 cigarette you can buy only, and no need for buying any matches. He leaned forward and took up a length of smoldering hemp rope that was hanging from a hook on the telegraph pole next to the cigarette stall. Prabakar blew the ash from the end of it, exposing a little orange ember of fire where he used to puff his cigarette alight. What is he making? What are they chewing in those leaves? It's called pan. A most excellent taste, and chewing it is. Everyone in Bombay is chewing and more spitting, no problem, day and night also. Very good for your health it is. Plenty of chewing and spitting. You want to try it? I will get some for you. I nodded and let him make the order, not so much for the new experience of the pan as for the excuse it offered to stand there longer. I looked at Carla. She was so relaxed and at home, so much a part of the street and its inscrutable lore. What I found bewildering all around me seemed to be mundane for her. I was reminded of the foreigner in the slum, the man I'd seen from the window of the bus. Like him, she seemed calm and content in Bombay. She seemed to belong. I envied her the warmth and acceptance she drew from those around her. But more than that, my eyes were drawn to her perfect loveliness. I looked at her, a stranger, and every other breath strained to force its way from my chest. A clamp like a tightening fist seized my heart. A voice in my blood said, yes, yes. The ancient Sanskrit legends speak of a distant and destined love, a karmic connection between souls that are fated to meet and collide and enrapture one another. The legends say that the loved one is instantly recognized because she is loved in every gesture, every expression of thought, every moment, every movement, every sound, and every mood that prays in her eyes. The legends say that we know her by her wings, the wings only we can see, and because wanting her skills every other desire of love. The same legends also carry warnings that such fated love may sometimes be the possession and the obsession of one and only one of the 2 souls, twinned by destiny. But wisdom, in one sense, is the opposite of love. Love survives in us precisely because it isn't wise. You look, that girl, Prabakar observed, returning with the pan and following the direction of my gaze. You think she's beautiful? Her name is Carla. You know her? Oh yes, Carla is everybody knows, he replied in a stage whisper so loud that I feared she might hear her. You want to meet her? Meet her? If you want it, I will speak to her. You want to be her friend? What? Oh yes, Carla is my friend and she'll be your friend also, I think so. Maybe you will make a lot of money for your very good self in business with Carla. Maybe you will become such good and closely friends that you will have a lot of sexes together and make a full enjoyment of your bodies. I am sure you will have a friendly pleasure. He was actually rubbing his hands together. The red juices of the pan stained the teeth and lips of his smile. I had to grasp his arm and stop him from approaching her there in the group of her friends. No, stop. Keep your voice down, Prabakar. If I want to speak to her, I'll do it myself. Oh, I understand, he said, looking abashed. It is what foreigners are calling foreplay, isn't it? No, foreplay is, well, never mind what foreplay is. Oh, good. I never mind about the foreplays, Mr. Lindsey. I am an Indian fellow, and we Indian fellows, we don't worry about the foreplays. We go straight to the bumping and jumping. Oh, yes. He was holding an imaginary woman in his hands and thrusting his narrow hips at her, smiling that red juice smile all the while. Will you stop that? I snapped, looking up to see if Carla and her friends were watching him. Okay, Mr. Lindsey, he sighed, slowing his rhythmic thrusts until they stopped altogether. But I can still make a good offer of your friendship to the Miss Carla if you like. No, no, thank you. I don't want to proposition her. Oh, God, what's the use? Just tell me the man who's talking now, what language is he speaking? He is speaking Hindi language, Mr. Lindsey. You wait 1 minute, I will tell you what he's saying. He moved to the far side of the stall and joined a group, quite unselfconsciously leaning in to listen. No one paid any attention to him, and he nodded, laughed with the others, and returned after a few minutes. He is telling everyone a funny story about an inspector of Bombay police, a very great fellow. The inspector did lock up a very clever fellow in his jail, but the clever fellow, he did convince the inspector to let him out because he told the inspector he had some gold and jewels. Not only that, but when he was free, the clever fellow sold the inspector inspector some of the gold and jewels, but they were not really gold and not really jewels. They were imitations, and very cheaply, not the real things. And the worst mischief, the clever fellow lived in the inspector's house for 1 week before he sold the not really jewels. And there was a big rumor that the clever fellow had sexy business with the inspector's wife. Now the inspector is crazy and so much angry, and everybody is running around to see. How do you know her? Does she live here? No, Mr. Lindsey, the inspector's wife. No, of course not. I mean the girl, Carla. Oh, you know, he mused, frowning hard for the first time. There's lots of girls in this Bombay. We are only 5 minutes from your hotel. In this 5 minutes, we have seen it hundreds of girls. In 5 minutes more, there's more hundreds of girls. Every 5 minutes, more hundreds of girls. And after a little while of walking, we'll see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Okay, I get it. Hundreds of girls, great. I interrupted sarcastically, my voice much louder than I intended it to be. I glanced around. Several people were staring at me with undisguised contempt. I continued in a hushed tone. I don't want to know about the hundreds of girls, Prabakar. I'm just curious about that girl, okay? Okay, Mr. Lindsey, I will be telling you everything. Carla, she is a famous businessman in Bombay. Very long she is here, I think 5 years. She has one small house. Everybody knows Carla. Where is she from? I think Germany, something like that. But she sounded American. Yes, she's sounding, but she is from Germany. I like to the German, and now, anyway, it's almost very Indian. You want to eat your foods now? Yeah, just a minute. The group of young friends called out to their goodbyes to the other near the pond stand and walked off into the mill and swirl of the crowd, and Carla joined them, walking away with her head held high and that curiously straight-backed, almost defiant posture. I watched her until she was swallowed by the people tide of the crowds, but she never looked back. Do you know a place called Leopold's? I asked Prabakar as he joined me and we started to walk. Oh yes, wonderful and lovely place. Leopold's beer bar, full of the most wonderful, lovely people. The very, very fine, the lovely people. All kinds of foreigners you can find there, all making good business. Sexy business and drug business and money business. The black market business and naughty pictures and smuggler business and passport business and... Okay, Prabakar, I get it. You want to go there? No, maybe later. I stopped walking and Prabakar stopped beside me. Listen, what do your friends call you? I mean, what's your name for short instead of Prabakar? Oh yes, short name. I am having also. My short name is Prabhu. Prabhu, I like it. It's meaning the son of light, or like to that. It's good name, yes. Is a good name, yes. And your good name, Mr. Lindsey. It is really not so good. If you don't mind, I'm telling your face. I don't like it this long and kind of a squeaky name for Indian people. Oh, you don't? Sorry to say it. No, I don't. Not at all. Not a bit. Not even a teensy or weensy. Well, I smiled. I'm afraid there's not a lot I can do about that. I'm thinking that a short name, Lynn, is much better, he suggested. If you're not having objections, I will call you Lynn. It was a good name as any, no more or less false than the dozen others I'd assumed since the escape. In fact, in recent months, I'd found myself reacting with a quirky fatalism to the new names I was forced to adopt. It was a diminutive I never could have invented for myself, but it sounded right, which is to say that I heard the voodoo echo of something ordained, fated, a name that instantly belonged to me, as surely as the lost secret name that which I was born, and under which I'd been sentenced to 20 years in prison. I peered down into Prabakar's round face and his large, dark, mischievous eyes, and I nodded, smiled, and accepted the name of Lynn. I couldn't know then that the little Bombay street guide had given me a name thousands of people from Colaba and Kandahar, from Kinshasa to Berlin, would come to know me by. Fate needs accomplices, and the stones in destiny's walls are mortared with small and heedless complicities such as those. I look back now and I know that the naming moment, which seemed so insignificant then, which seemed to demand no more than an arbitrary and superstitious yes or no, was in fact a pivotal moment in my life. lingam, and that is meaning penis. Come off it, man, I protested, beginning to walk once more. How can I go around calling myself Mr. Penis? Are you kidding me? I can see it now. Oh, hello, pleased to meet you. My name is Penis. No way, forget it. I think we'll stick to Lindsay. No, Lynn, really, I'm telling you, this is a fine name, a very power name, a very lucky name, a too lucky name. The people will love this name when they hear it come. I will show you. I want to leave it, this bottle of whiskey you just gave to me, leave it with my friend Mr. Sanjay here, just here in this shop. Just you see how he likes it, your name. A few more paces along the busy street brought us to a small shop with a hand-painted sign over the door. Radio Sick, Electric Repair Enterprises, Electrical Sales and Repairs. Sanjay Deshpande was a heavy-set man in his 50s with a halo of gray-white hair and white, bushy eyebrows. He sat behind a solid wooden counter surrounded by bomb blast radios, eviscerated cassette players, and boxes of parts. Prabakar greeted him, chattering in a rapid Hindi, and passed the bottle of whiskey over the counter. He slapped a mini hand on it without looking at it and slid it out of sight on his side of the counter. He took a sheaf of rupee notes from his shirt pocket, peeled off a number, and passed them across with his palm turned downward. Prabakar took the money and slipped it into his pocket with a movement as swift and fluid as the tentacle grab of a squid. He finished talking at last and beckoned me forward. This is my very good friend, he informed Mr. Deshpande, patting me on the arm. He is from New Zealand. He grunted. He is just today coming in Bombay, India guest house he is staying. Mr. Deshpande grunted again. He studied me with a vague, hostile curiosity. His name is Lin, Mr. Lin Baba, Prabakar said. What's his name? Lin, Prabakar grinned. His name is Lin Baba. Mr. Deshpande raised his impressive eyebrows in a surprised smile. Lin Baba? Oh yes, Prabakar enthused. Lin, very fine fellow. He is also. Mr. Deshpande extended his hand and I shook it. We greeted one another, and then Prabakar began to tug at my sleeve, pulling me towards the doorway. Lin Baba, Mr. Deshpande called out, and we were about to step into the street. Welcome to Bombay. You will have any Walkman or camera or any ghetto blasting machine for selling. You come to me. I am giving best prices. I nodded and we left the shop. Prabakar dragged me a few paces further along the street, and then we stopped. You see, Mr. Lin? You see how he likes it, your name? I guess so, I muttered, bewildered as much by his enthusiasm as by the brief exchange with the other man. When I got to know him well enough, when I began to cherish his friendship, I discovered that Prabakar believed with the whole heart that his smile made a difference in people's hearts and in the world, and he was right, of course. But it took me a long time to understand that truth and to accept it. What's the Baba part at the end of the name, Lin? I can understand. But what's the Lin Baba bit about? Baba is just a respecting name, Prabakar grinned. If we put Baba back on your name or on the name of anybody special, it's like meaning the respect we give it to a teacher or a holy person or a very old. Okay, I get it. But it doesn't make me any more comfortable with it. Prabhu, I gotta tell you, the whole penis thing, I just don't know. But you did see the man's face. You did see how he liked it, your name. Look it. See how the people love this name. You see now. You look, I will tell it to everybody. Lin Baba, Lin Baba, Lin Baba. He was speaking in a shout, addressing strangers as they passed us on the street. All right, Prabhu, I get it. I'll take your word for it. Calm down. It was my turn to tug at his sleeve and move him along the street. I thought you wanted to drink the whiskey. Ah, yes, was wanting it and was already drinking it in my mind also. But now, Lin Baba, with this money from selling your good present to Mr. Sanjay, I can buy 2 bottles of very bad and nicely cheap Indian whiskey to enjoy. And plenty of money left for a new nice shirt. And tickets for enjoying air-conditioned Hindi picture and 2 days of foods. But wait, Lin Baba, you are not eating it, your pan. You must put it now in the side of your mouth and chew it before it's getting stale and not good for taste. Okay, how do I do it? Like this? I put the leaf wrap parcel almost the size of a matchbox into the side of my mouth between the cheek and the teeth, and I'd seen the others do. Within seconds, a fusion of aromatic sweetness possessed my mouth. The taste was sharp and luscious, honeyed and subtly piquant at the same time. The leaf wrapping began to dissolve, and the solid, crunchy nibbles of shaved betel nut, date, and coconut swirled in the sweet juices. You must spit it out, Prabakar said, staring at my grinding jaw with earnest concentration. You may like this, see? Spit him out like vigorous and effective rubbing. No problem, your boots. I will wipe them. You'll see. I must ask it now. Do you like the swimming? Swimming, I asked, swallowing the little pan mixture that was still in my mouth. Oh yes, swimming. I will take you to Chowpatty Beach. So nice beach it is, and there you can practice chewing and chewing and more spitting with the pan, but without so many of your clothes, for a good saving on your laundry. Listen about that, going around the city. You work as a guide, right? Oh yes, very best Bombay guide, and guiding all India also. How much do you charge per day? He glanced at me. I charge 100 rupees all day, he said. Okay.